Harry, is one, in some ways, you probably have to be better in SMB than enterprise because the margin for error is lower. Because, you sign an enterprise 3-year deal, and they don't even deploy for a year because there's business process change. You get like a whole nother year to fix it. And then, you can work on the renewal in year 3. These SMBs, the smallest ones, are brutal. Like, they'll look at their credit card statement and they'll cancel everything the day that the 15th or the 30th of the month that doesn't make the money. They'll cancel everything. It's brutal. And for the best founders, it makes you even better. And that's actually why I think the best software in the world are the Canvas and the Squarespaces, right? Even if maybe Canva has better metrics than Squarespace, but they have to be great, or I'm just going to churn tomorrow. And it's almost impossible to churn out of most enterprise products. It's almost impossible, right? So SMB software has to be better. It has to be self-serve. It has to be PLG. It's not a choice. It's a requirement. And do you believe they'll get to 100%? What's their strategy? And if they don't, if the burn is low, I would take the risk. If the burn is high, I would assume the burn will increase linearly with that churn because it's just going to suck up more and more capital. Don't
laugh. What's high burn as a percent of revenue? Like, if you're looking at a company that's $1 million in ARR that's doing largely SMB, what would be like an acceptable burn?
It's funny. There's the burn ratio, right? That David Sachs popularized. And I've watched different companies. I don't know how often you get in your investor updates. I probably get half my investor updates get the burn ratio. Okay. And then I started to see its flaw. The burn ratio, David Sachs is basically one or less is really efficient, right? If you burn less than your revenue, your bookings, it's super efficient. That's great if you're clear the next round's coming in and you have like 120% NRR and 80% margins. If you're not clear the next round's coming in, your NRR is SMB, so it's 60% or 70%, and maybe your gross margins are lower if you have a hardware component or other COGS. Your burn ratio may need to be much shorter. Because when you look at our friends in B2C, right, they talk about going profitable on a customer in 60 days, 90 days, 30 days. We had Jacob from RevenueCat you should do it sometimes. We had him do our little workshop Wednesday. And, I think their churn rate, they have 10,000, consumer SaaS companies on their platform, right? I think that they have a 60% annual churn rate. He's like, our customers have to go profitable in like 40 days. That's the B2C world that you and I are less familiar with. But if you're going to do very small business SaaS, you start to overlap B2C a little bit, don't you? There's an overlap here.